Welcome to the IVM Podcast Network.
You're listening to Paobites with the Daily Pao.
This is Pranati.
Amit.
And Purva. And we're the Daily Pao, a Bombay-specific food and culture website. And this is Paobites. It's a series of mini episodes that we do in the weeks between our fortnightly podcast, the Paodcast. Now, on this episode, we're going to talk about theme bars. And this is something Amit is an expert on. Since,
I'm not an expert on
this,
but
because he has a penchant for things like rain.
A penchant for weird bars. And also, Amit is our bar reviewer.
Yeah. Well, the reason why we decided to talk about theme bars today is because North has come to the South. And by this,
winter.
I mean Rainforest Resto Bar, which has outpost in Ghatkopar, Belapur and Kurla, is opened in Phoenix Mills.
Amit, I can hear the mockery in your voice.
Yeah, why are you saying it
Stop
like that?
that.
It's
You're supposed to be an objective reviewer.
South Mumbai snobs who have now...
You just spoke like a South Mumbai snob.
Yeah, you are one.
Who keep talking about how basically we've seen this happen with places in Bandra and Andheri open, but now we've gone as far as the
Belapur coming
and
to
Rainforest Restaurant Bar has opened in Phoenix Mills, clearly because they see there's a big market there, and it is a theme bar, as the name implies. It's got trees and
So basically,
foliage.
You feel like you're in the equator.
I haven't been to Rainforest Resto Bar. Maybe I will go to the Phoenix Mills one. But yeah, I think this is a good opportunity to talk about our city's fascination with theme bars. And we've had many over the years, and bulk of them open in Andheri. Some of which sadly no longer exist, but I think that we will mention them because they are worth mentioning. But of course, I just want to talk about how there are different categories of theme bars. Well, they're the genuine theme bars who take their theme seriously. And let's face it, in terms of theme, we're talking more about the decor, because nobody really goes as far as to really concentrate on the menu when it comes to.
It should seep into the menu.
It should, but it really doesn't happen. So I'm not even going to go there.
Rainforest theme bar.
Tropical.
How would you?
I saw according to the menu, it's multi-cuisine. It's got Chinese, it's Italian, it's got everything. So I don't think it's quite sticking to the theme. But when you think about theme bars, I always think of Toto's, which has been around, it's one of the longest running bars in Bombay. It's been around since 1992. And it is it is a theme bar as far as the theme bars go in this city. The waiters, they wear mechanics overalls.
There is gruff mechanics, no politeness there.
There cars, over the bar, over the DJ console. Well, there's not really a DJ. They play they've been playing the same playlist for the past 10 years. But, they have hubcaps and number plates on the wall. So it's they've really sort of gone all out with the theme. Now, similarly, you've got something like Hard Rock Cafe. Now, again, Hard Rock Cafe doesn't always play hard rock, as we all know. But, again, when it comes to the decor, it's got a whole bunch of rock memorabilia. And that's really the classic gold standard, I think, in terms of what theme bars are. And theme bars are obviously much derided because, they're cheesy. And
they're cheesy, like you said, right? There's this sort of... it's pretty half-assed, if you ask me.
Because you don't go all the way with the theme. Now, I
think you should be thankful sometimes that you don't go all the way with the theme,
But, I talk about places like, Toto's and Hard Rock, who at least take an effort with the decor. And then you have places like the Irish House, which is a fun place to hang out sometimes.
There's nothing Irish.
There's nothing Irish about it apart from the fact that it's got a green decor and they've got some few posters.
And a lot of beer.
And U2 and Pierce Brosnan having caricatures of them does not make you an Irish bar.
St. Patrick's Day parade.
Yeah, and having celebrating St. Patrick's Day.
But I suppose the idea is that it's a beer-themed place.
Every place is a beer-themed place.
Yeah, but beer is an Irish preoccupation.
No, I think that's really superficial. And then,
what about the jail bar?
Well, I'm going to talk about the jail. But before I talk about the jail, I want to talk about the third category, which is fake theme bars. Now, I don't mind an Irish house which does as long as they're giving you an overall, it's a decent experience. I mean, the food and drink is well priced. It's a fun place to hang out. But you have places like Caitlin's Beer Garden, which is not a beer garden by any way, and they don't even have their own beer right now. So
no, but I have a bigger problem then with BBC, the British Brewing Company, because it's not any of those things. And I was so disappointed because they did not even have people serving artisanal brews.
But is that a theme bar?
No, but you call yourself a brewing company, right?
Well,
It's
I think when you talk
misleading.
about how bars are named and then how bars are themed, like Caitlin's Beer Garden, it is on the first
It
or
is also
second.
named,
It's on the
yeah.
second floor of a restaurant, and it's like it looks like a beer garden, but it looks like a fake beer garden because again it's got fake trees, and but yeah,
Well,
they
Bandra
write-
seems to love it, Amit.
Who?
It's always full, Bandra.
Yeah, Bandra seems to love it for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
Bandra is, after Andheri, I think Bandra has the largest number of theme bars. And speaking of Andheri, yeah, I'm going to sort of give props to the Jail, which was my favorite theme bar, which sadly had a very short run. The Jail was this place where you walked in and you were escorted. I don't think you were handcuffed, but you
No
were
way.
escorted to your table by a policeman.
Oh, you were not handcuffed. Thank God.
And the waiters were all prisoners. And then you had different rooms that you could sit in. Each room was dedicated to a different Hindi movie villain. So you had the Shakal room, the Mogambo room, the Gabbar room, and you could choose where you wanted to sit. Of course, sadly, the food and drink was a typical multi-cuisine Andheri stuff, which was pretty
Yeah,
forgettable.
well, in this case, you
You
have to be
know,
thankful that
Amit.
it wasn't jail food
And,
that you were getting.
you know, and
Stale
but
chapatis.
the VIP table was the policeman. So I quite
Did they have
enjoyed the Jail
best
because
menu?
it was such a
So
trip.
it was like a separate menu across the rooms? No.
No, it was the same menu. And the other, I think you can't mention theme bars in Andheri and not talk about Ice Cube.
Yeah, exactly.
Ice Cube, this place, which is very sort of...
Is it still operational?
No, it's shut down.
Shit, that's terrible.
It was, as if you have been to Ice Cube, have you?
No, but I know that you had to wear fur.
You had to wear
and-
dirty, I don't know whether they laundered
You-
them,
yeah,
but you had to wear
these
jackets.
parkas,
Oh,
which-
Yeah, because it
which
was
never got
obviously
laundered.
you were in a room which was
Yeah.
filled with ice. It was
Right.
I forget what temperature it was,
Yeah.
but it was obviously very cold. And the idea was that you just stood
You just
around.
froze your ass
Yeah.
off.
And
Oh my God.
That was all the theme.
Really?
Yeah.
So you were in a room of ice, and
Yeah,
then
room
what?
of ice.
Where do you sit? Like, on ice cubes or?
No, they did have they
You
had
should sit
regular.
on frozen bar stools.
They
But
they had
the
regular
water
bar
is
stools, but they
precipitating
had
below you.
it was cold obviously. So
Right.
No, there's no precipitation because the temperature is at a certain level.
and then
So
the
it's
sort of
dry.
but I think we have to distinguish theme bars between like concept bars, which we've been seeing a lot of recently. We've had
Right.
places that, have, we've had this whole run of secret bars, remember, a few years
Yeah.
ago, places like The Local and Please Don't Tell. And I think that essentially now people figure out that it doesn't stay a secret for very long. So
They don't want it to be a secret
Yeah.
either. It's not.
Well,
like
it's announced
they
on their
want to-
Facebook page.
yeah,
Yeah.
because the idea was that you needed a secret
Yeah.
password to
Exactly.
enter.
I mean, then there's the whole gastropub thing
Yeah.
where the food
but is that really a
as
theme? That's more like a category,
no
right?
concept, right? It is a concept. A gastropub is
And
a
then
concept.
again, you have the pricing places. You've got Bar Stock Exchange.
There's social. There's
Social. But the social, I mean, they're just well priced. Do they have any kind of sort
well,
of
how they
pricing
how they
policy?
plan to serve their drinks and stuff like that, But it is also a part of the similar.
Yeah, and Bar Stock Exchange, of course,
their
depends.
concept is co-working /
Yeah, that's
you
their
know.
concept, co-working.
Yeah.
And then you have the pricing, like BSC, where supply and demand
Drives the prices.
drives what the price is.
Yeah. I mean, what do you what do you think is the way forward? Do you see more of concept bars, or what would you like to see more of? Rather?
I'm all for more concept bars. I'm all for more places that are well priced. So I'm happy to have more places where you get better deals and stuff. So
Are you saying this as a penniless businessman?
yes, I'm saying this is a penniless person. I'm not a businessman. Penniless entrepreneur.
So that's it for Paobites. And up next, we have Romil Ratra of Bellona Hospitality. And he's going to be promoting his new bar, and it's called Bar Bar.
Thanks, guys.
Well,
So
can you
firstly, sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
No, I just want to know why it's called Bar
Exactly,
Bar.
that was my question too. Was it so good you had to name it twice?
Yeah.
Well, you guys will have to come to find out, The proof of the cocktail is in the drinking.
That's
Okay, but
fair.
when you were thinking of names, why Bar Bar?
Were you
I mean,
just
is there a
typing,
story
like, often-
behind it?
yeah.
Or were you like, okay,
There
let's
is a
just...
story, but you'll have to come to Bar Bar.
Okay.
Bar Bar.
Okay,
then
well,
we'll talk.
since you're being mysterious about this, tell us about the concept.
Okay, so I'm going to take a step back before I tell you about the concept and what inspired the concept. We didn't want to build just another bar. In most of the concepts that we've done up until now, we always do a bunch of research. With Bar Bar as well, we did a very focused research with the professional organization. 75 people group discussions, questionnaires, one-on-one discussions, and the group was essentially people between the age of 22 and 38. We picked college students, young professionals, mid-level managers, and I think for us, what we really wanted to understand is what is it that they look for when they go out? What is it that bothers them when they go out? To see if we could create a bar that was not just another bar, but, well, sort of a solution as well. And what came out, actually, for someone who's been in the business for 20 years, was quite painful to listen to. The couple of things that did come out very strongly was one, even with a happy hour, they felt cheated sometimes, because if a happy hour most happy hours have a fixed time. It's like maybe 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock or 5 o'clock to 8 o'clock. 15 minutes before, 20 minutes before, you'd have staff coming to say, listen, the happy hour's getting over. Do you want some more drinks? You have to order them now. In many cases, what came out was they didn't actually want to have another couple of drinks, or they were not sure. But because they wanted to get the price benefit, they felt pressured into ordering the drinks. In certain cases, what also came out was that they were not sure about the quantity that they were getting and whether it was actually a 60 ml or a 30 ml. Sometimes they felt shortchanged.
So, this sounds like the survey was conducted when they were all sober.
So here's another thing. You're
you
absolutely
should have
right.
plied them with drinks during the survey and then seen what they said.
You're absolutely right. And the other thing that came out was that after a particular point in time, after a couple of drinks, you sort of lose control. Not of your faculties and not of who you are, but you kind of lose control of how much you're going to have more beyond that. So you get pressured into stuff. Or after the first 3 or 4 drinks, someone's saying, let's have shots. And everyone just kind of gives in and says, let's have shots. And then the guilt comes later. Either it comes tomorrow morning, or when you've got home and you've then looked at this crumpled bill in your pocket and you're saying, damn, I didn't want to spend this much, but it's already done. So I'm actually glad we had this conversation when they're sober, because if I hadn't, the concept would never have come out, because they said, yeah, we love to drink, and we don't care. Right. But I think we took all of this learning, and that's when we decided to build Bar as a concept. And the concept behind Bar is, Bar essentially takes drinks and puts them into categories. So we have 3 categories, say a popular, a premium, and a luxury. A lot of bars will give you the option to buy 1 drink, 3 drinks, or a bottle. However, if you buy a bottle or you buy those 3 drinks, you have to buy 3 of that particular brand. So if you're drinking brand X, then I need to buy a bottle of brand X, and the 5 of us at the table have to drink brand X all evening long. With Bar, because we're saying that there's 30 brands in the popular category, you can get brand X, you can get 2 drinks, the next person on the table can get 2 of brand Y, the next person can get 2 of brand Z, and as they add up, that's when the price starts to come down. So if you went to Bar A versus Bar, you went to Bar A, you ordered a drink, say it's 150 rupees. You went to Bar, yes, your first drink is 150 rupees. But when you got to 3, your bill at Bar A would be 450 rupees, because that's 150 into 3. At Bar now it's come down to 135 per drink.
But you have to order them at the same time.
Like with anything else that's wholesale. Yeah. If I went to buy a kilo of potatoes versus 5, I can't tell the vegetable guy that, hey, listen, I'm negotiating the rate with you now, but send me 1 kilo of potatoes every day for the next 5 days.
Sure.
If you take the popular category, the moment you hit 12 drinks, the price comes down to 99 a drink.
Okay. So 12 is the max. So I can get to the bar and say, I've got 4 friends with me, and we each decide we're going to order 3 drinks.
3 smalls, say, for example.
3 smalls, and we order it right now.
Yeah.
And then I get onto my table...
you actually get a transparent measuring cylinder so that you don't feel cheated, that you know that you've got 90 ml because you've ordered 3 X brand.
Okay. So I get 3 90 ml measured...
4, because there's 4 of you at the table.
Oh, 360 ml?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And you'd pay 99 per drink for that.
Okay.
And you're basically targeting anybody who's sort of, just out in a group and who wants to just get
So, I think the good thing with Bar is that you can be 2 people who'd like to get a couple more drinks this evening. You'd still get a great deal. You could be a much larger group, where anyway you're going to order a bunch and then it's not going to kill you later, or you're not going to feel the guilt later. You could be a corporate hosting something where you know that a large number of people within the group will be beer drinkers. So our beers as well, we don't serve a 300 ml glass. You get half a liter or 1 liter. And if you were to compare those prices as well, because again, it goes back to the whole idea of a larger portion, wholesale, better deal, you'd find that they're almost half the price of anywhere else.
Wow.
Okay.
Cool. So this is at Phoenix Market City on the first floor, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So that's Rommel talking about Bar. You can check it out July 30th onwards.
Yeah.
Thanks
We'll
for
see
being
you
on the
there
show.
probably.
Thank you. I hope to see you guys at Bar.
If you like listening to the podcast, you can also check out Cyrus Says, hosted by the Cyrus Brocha. It's an irreverent podcast on current events, urban India, politics, sports, civic sense, traffic, kids, food, and everything that matters. Well, mostly.
एक्सक्यूज मी भैया, एक्सक्यूज मी,
बोलिए मैडम।
मेन्यू में क्या है?
मेन्यू में सीन अनसीन है, पॉडकास्ट है, ऑन कोर्स है, साइरस सेज है, मेड इन इंडिया, रीडिस्कवरी प्रोजेक्ट, एम्पावरिंग सीरीज, सेक्स वैक्स है, IVM लाइक्स है, सिंप्लीफाइड है, कीपिंग इट क्वियर है, थिंग्स एंड डेस्टिनेशंस है, माय नेबर जकरबर्ग है और द फैन गराज है। आपको क्या चाहिए?
एक बार रिपीट कर देंगे क्या?
रिपीट नहीं करता हम, आप जाओ IVMpodcast.com पे और सुनो ये सब, या फिर डाउनलोड करो उनका ऐप, सब आपकी उंगलियों पे।